school, they're emotionally healthier, and they're more likely to stay out of trouble with the law. If you're in a troubled marriage, of course you should do everything you can to save your marriage, if only for your kids' sake. This includes considering alternatives to divorce. Of course, in some circumstances, divorce is unavoidable. In either case, if you're a man facing a crisis in your marriage, let us help you at Cordell & Cordell. Remember, we're the partner men can count on.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln, Cordell & Cordell, 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68508.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Breathe easier inside your home with Bryant. Eliminate allergens and odors and control humidity too. For a breath of fresh air, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
People always ask me, hey, Libby, what fuels you? Passion? Competition? The pursuit of greatness? None of those things. Raising Cane's is the only fuel I need. Their cooked-to-order chicken fingers always fills my tank, and the crinkle-cut fries and Texas toast are the perfect top-off for the perfect road trip. So when I'm running on fumes, I always refuel at Raising Cane's. But turns out, not everything's fueled by Cane's. Guess the old girl prefers her sauce unleaded. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Power Hour with two-time national champion Todd Uhlir. Powered by Window World of Lincoln and SetTheBarSups.com.
All right. What is up, Nebraska? And welcome to episode 43 of the Power Hour here with me, Todd Uhlir, right here on 93.7 The Ticket, where we talk sports, mindset, faith, and what it really takes to set the bar in life. And today's episode is all about grit, grind, and finding the time, because my guest is living proof that big goals are worth chasing no matter how long it takes. I'm joined by Tasha Breitbarth, a born and raised Nebraska girl who's been married 23 years, raising 4 incredible kids, age 22 down to 11, running a busy life, and just qualified for her first Boston Marathon after setting that goal 15 years ago. We're going to talk about balancing family, faith, and the fire it takes to keep chasing your dreams even when life throws you obstacles. So whether you're out for a run, hitting the gym, or grinding through your Saturday errands, buckle up. This is the Power Hour, and it starts now. So excited. This has been one, I know I'm excited. Tasha's nervous. So she's like, I've never done anything like this before. And I just think it's awesome. I met Tasha back in 2011 when I could still run. Before I gave up running altogether. And we went out to Colorado and I had run this relay in 2010. You knew that, right? Like we ran it the year before. And there was 12 of us that ran that one, the first one. And then like it was coming down to crunch time and we didn't have enough runners. We were going to have to, forfeit or, lose our entry fee. To run this relay. And I think was it Diana that reached out to you? I don't know who reached out to you.
I think so. So Carol Smith, she had talked to somebody and she's like, I think I've got 3 girls that would be interested in going.
So we go out to Colorado. We ran from Fort Collins to Steamboat Springs. It's 200 miles. Somebody is running the entire time. It was crazy. I think it took us 34 hours, something like that. I don't know. It
was a long time.
It was definitely a challenge. I did that 2 years in a row. And so that's when I first met Tasha, and it's crazy. We grew up not that far apart from each other. I am a little bit older because I'm old. And so she was born and raised in Wisner, Nebraska, which is just down the street, literally
Yep.
from Battle Creek. But like I said, I think I'm 6 years older than you. And so never really knew of you until 2011. And so kind of tell us about growing up in a small town and kind of your sports background, that kind of stuff, and how you got into running, like long
Yeah.
distances.
It's kind of a crazy, I was thinking back to even elementary school. They always had a elementary track and field night. And even at that young of an age, I can remember doing the 200. And that was the longest they would let, in, I think, elementary, they would let you do. So I always signed up for the 200. Ironically, I could not run a straight line. So I knew in high school, if I ever did track, I would be disqualified, which I think is why I kind of went longer distance. So I did track, that kind of stuff in elementary school. It wasn't until my freshman year of high school that for volleyball, we were required to run a mile. And so that summer I started running and it kind of stuck. I did go out for volleyball my freshman year. And then the next year, somebody goes, "Why don't you go out for cross country?" So I did cross country then my next 3 years. I was out for basketball 1 year. And I did track 1 year. I didn't care to run around the track. I mean, obviously I was a long distance, so I did the 2 mile. It was pretty boring to run around the track. And I wasn't a star athlete. I mean, I did it. I'd love to be involved in something as a team. But I wasn't a standout. Knowing now, I wish I would have pushed myself a little bit more, which I think is why I'm so hard on my kids sometimes. I push them to be their best just because I know that they can give more than what they are, and you don't get those years back. So,
yeah, I'll tell you, my mom pushed hard, so, and I don't regret that one bit. Like, I'm so glad that
no,
she pushed us to, and with my kids, a little different push than my mom. Like, my mom was like, anybody that's ever met my mom, she was very fierce. She was only 5'1", but everybody was scared of her. But she very fierce. And even knowing that she pushed us, how to push my kids a little differently. Like, there was a lot of things that because she pushed that way, I did to maybe, get some of that pressure off of me that I shouldn't have been doing, like partying all the time. So it's interesting. So Wisner, Nebraska, you grow up, you graduate college.
Yep. So I went to Northeast. I was going to be a nurse. Growing up, I worked as a CNA in the nursing home there in Wisner, and just I wanted to be a nurse. So I did a year and a half at Northeast, and then I don't know, decided that wasn't going to be for me. I had worked at the hospital in Norfolk as an aide also, and got a lot of experience, but just decided that wasn't going to be for me. And I actually had a job offer at the courthouse here in Pender. And we were planning on moving here after we got married. And so I quit school. That was a hard decision to make, but I don't regret it now. Everything worked out. And yeah, I don't know. I never did go back to school, but
Well, I'm right with you. Blew my shoulder in '95, and I couldn't play football anymore, so I wasn't going to school anymore. So I'm with you. I never went back. Um, doesn't mean that it's worked out
Still
great for
able.
me, right? Yeah, it worked out
Yep.
great for me. And um, so you moved to Pender, get
Yep.
married. Been married for 23 years.
Yep. It'll
Um,
be
yep,
20. It'll be 23 years in August. Yep.
awesome. So right around the corner.
So yeah.
And so start a family. Like when did this idea of, like, I don't know how many marathons you run. I know it's a lot because I follow you on Facebook and it seems to be always running one somewhere. Um, when did this idea of, hey, I'm just gonna, and like, how did you fit it in having kids? Like, I know how hard it is. I have 4 kids as well. I know how hard it is to fit in stuff, having one kid, but then
Mm-hmm.
having 4, right? So I love kind of how you figured out how to put this on. First of all, like, what made you start running that long of distances?
I have no idea. I think a lot of it maybe was just I don't know. Just I was kind of in between high school and college, and then getting married and having kids. Had started walking in between there, and walking is so boring.
Mhm.
I'm like, I know I can get there faster if I just start running. So here in Pender, I just started running, and I had never really, I didn't know Pender, so I ran around town, and I don't know. It just After I had Nathan, it was just kind of that's how I coped with everything, and um, I'd put him to bed at night, and I'd go for a run, and it was probably the first year or so. Uh, Family member of Matt's they were going to run Lincoln half. And at that time, I mean, I think I signed up in like April. It didn't sell out like it had for a while. So I thought, well, okay, I'm going to sign up for this half marathon. Um,
It's a,
and
Lincoln's a great half marathon, by the way. It's
it is.
I've run 2 halves, and the first one I ran was in Vegas. If you haven't run Vegas, go run Vegas.
It is.
It's flat. You've run Vegas? Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Mandalay Bay down and back, and um, that was the first one I ran, and I was in pretty good shape for that, and I ran it in like 2:08, which was pretty good for a 240-pound guy. 'Cause that's what I weighed.
Yeah.
I weighed 243 pounds the morning of the run, and my goal was to break 2 minutes, but my shoulder actually cramped up at like mile 10, and I had to walk quite a bit after that. But then I didn't really train. I did Lincoln right after, so I did that in December, and then Lincoln's always that first weekend in May, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was already signed up for that because it did sell. It does pretty much sell out at this point, right? So I had to run that in May, but I didn't train for it the way I trained for. So I suggest training for these things, even though doesn't sound like you were really trained for your first one, right?
No, at that time, I didn't even wear a watch. Like, I can remember going out and I just kind of ran, and I had no idea what my pace was. I had no idea how far I went. So a lot of the times I'd get back in my car and I'd go figure out, okay, how far did I go? So just to have an idea. I quickly, that changed, and I found a Garmin running watch. Yeah.
Yeah, the technology is awesome. I remember growing up in Battle Creek, once again, a little bit older than you, and I would go out for runs to build my stamina for football, and I would drive the car to see, okay, what's a mile? Okay, I'll run that,
Yep.
right? But there was, a little stopwatch. But now with all the technology, like literally I track every single, like I'm I'm walking right now. It is very boring because I had back surgery about 3 weeks ago. So walking is very boring, but it tracks your routes now. All this technology like
Yes.
has your pace right there. You know it.
There's
Like
so much information. Yeah.
yeah, and sometimes that's great. Sometimes it's not so great. It depends. If I'm having a good day, it's great to have it. If I'm having a bad day, it's like,
Yes.
But
Yep.
so your first one, what year was that you ran the first Lincoln?
So my first half was in 2004.
Okay.
And like I said, after that, I was just kind of hooked. I thought, okay, the next year I'm going to keep running. So the next year I signed up for the full. And my intentions were, okay, Nathan's, he would be two, it would have been 2. I'm like, at that time, I didn't know how many kids we were going to have. And I thought, well, I'll run a marathon for each kid I have, just to get back into shape. Well, yeah. So I ran 2005, and I think I really just caught the run. I mean, at that point, there was a couple big names, Shalane Flanagan, Kara Goucher, just to watch them run the Olympics, and they're legends. I mean, they were so fun to watch. Paula Radcliffe, she was another one. I just couldn't get enough of diving into the running world and just learning new things. Another one I think I've read every one of his books is that Dean Karnassus.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe he inspired me the most. One of his first books that I read, it was like Ultra Marathon Man. But he talked about in his book about running 30 miles for his 30th birthday. And he literally walked out of a bar one night after a night of drinking and ran 30 miles. So he kind of inspired me. So that was in 2005, 2006. My 30th birthday wasn't till 2011. So I'm like, okay, I've got a few years to get ready for this. And in between there, I had another son. Jackson was born in 2007. And so ran Lincoln, I think, in 2008. And all my family was there. And those are the best memories of. A lot of times my kids and husband don't come to my marathons just because they know I'm going to finish, and I might go with friends or something. But my first 2 full marathons, they meant a lot. Having my family there, and one of my first ones, my uncle John was there. He died in a car accident, I think in 2009, 2010. So that memory of him and my dad running the last few blocks with me, you don't ever forget that. So those are special memories that I have of my first 2 marathons. Couple of years later, I had my daughter Megan, and I think it was probably a few months after I had her that I ran Des Moines full. And I would say after that, it kind of just let loose. I've ran, I think I'm up to like 34 halves, and yeah, way too many fulls. But I would say 2009, 2010 is just really when it took off. I started running with a friend of mine, Sonia Kelly, here in town. She was always an avid runner, ran halves, and she finally says to me, Tasha, I think I want to run a full marathon. I said, okay, I'm up for that, you know. And she goes, but I think I want to run Boston. She's like, I know, like, you know, go big or go home. She knew she only had one chance at it. Her knees from high school were not going to let her do multiple marathons. So we trained for the Phoenix Marathon, which is ran in January, and she qualified. She needed at that time, she needed a 3:40. I think she was like maybe late 37 or so. And she qualified with like a minute and a half to spare. Yeah. And I think back then it just wasn't, Boston wasn't something that as it like it is now. I mean, it's just crazy to try and get into it. And, you know, even though you run your qualifying time, you need way more than a minute. I know that. So we trained together, and I tried to qualify. My first probably time trying to qualify was Chicago 2010. I thought it's a flat course. They say it's a good qualifier. It was not a good day. It ended up being like 90 degrees. And I would say it's not a good one to qualify. I didn't care for it. I think I ended up with like 27 miles that day. And there's just so many people. It's unbelievable. I think there's maybe 45,000 that run that.
Yeah, when I ran Vegas, there was 44,000 people, and I ended up running like 13.7 miles on my watch. I'm like, oh, because you're running around people. It was madness. So yeah, not always a fun one to do when there's that many people. So
no,
especially I think how many people lie about their times, evidently, because I passed a bunch of people and a bunch of people passed me, and I was like, what's going on?
Right. So
2010 is the big. That's when you're like, all right, I want to set this. That's 15 years ago, right? It's 2025. So,
there were a lot of ups and downs in those 15 years.
Yeah, right. But it never was. It was always something that you were striving for, right? And so we're going to go to a break here shortly. So when we come back, we're going to kind of talk about those 15 years and kind of the ups and downs in there. We're going to take it to break. This is, your story is already proving that dreams don't come with an expiration date, and we've got a lot more to unpack. So this first break is brought to you by Window World of Lincoln. Tough, energy efficient, and built to last, just like Tasha's marathon mindset. If your home needs an upgrade, trust the team that always goes the distance. Stick around. The more Power Hour coming up after this.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT, from cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket. A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Führer's cheese spread. So he left it once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
Back to the Power Hour with Todd Uhlir on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to the Power Hour on 93.7 The Ticket, powered by Window World of Lincoln. This segment is going to be pretty cool. I'm Todd Uhlir, and I'm here with Tasha Breitbarth, who's reminding us all that patience and persistency pay off. So, Tasha, let's dig a little deeper. 15 years is a long time to chase a goal. What's kept you going all those years through family life, work, everything else, without letting go of that Boston dream, right?
I just loved my love for running. I use it as my me time. And I'm a better wife. I'm a better mom. When I do go and get, whether it's an hour or sometimes just 30 minutes, I do find the time to do that for myself.
So yeah, and in 2010 you have 3 kids already, right?
Yes.
So you're like, I'm going to run the Boston with 3 kids, and I mean, I get it. And I don't get it as a mom, but I know moms take on a lot more responsibility than most dads do. I was able to go out and play golf and do some stuff on my own that my wife probably didn't get to do those things, right? So, and then along comes number 4, right?
Yeah. So that's a funny story because Matt and I had kind of talked, and we were good. We had talked about having a 4th one. And in 2013, we moved into a new house, and of course there was extra bedroom. I used it as my workout room. And at that point, 2013, I was training for the Dizzy Goat. It was a 12-hour trail run, and it was a 3.25-mile loop. And a good friend of mine, John Rebensdorf from Pierce, we were going to run it. And so I had ran Lincoln that year. I think it was a PR for me in Lincoln, like a 3:45, which I was ecstatic about. And so I'm running this 12-hour run, and it was unbelievable. My friend John ended up falling in the third loop and busted up his leg. Crazy. And, a couple weeks after that, I finished with 42.25 miles that day. Longest I've ever ran. And a couple weeks later, I am out running, and I'm doing a 10-mile, run, and piece of cake. And I just said, I am just so tired. And a friend of mine's like, give yourself a break. You just ran 40 miles. Yeah. And I said, no, this is different. Like, I just am so tired. Come to find out, I was pregnant with my fourth child, and more than likely was pregnant when I ran that 12-hour run. Oh, wow. Yeah, so she's not expected. Actually, no.
No.
She's the complete opposite. She loves her volleyball. Yeah. All three of my other children ran cross country. With her, I am not. She's gonna change that.
That's funny. So you have her. What is kind of the training behind? Like, I trained for a half. I never ever once in my mind did I think I was going to run a full. What's the training like? How many miles per week? That kind of stuff. Were you putting in at this time?
I would say, for me, for comfortably and not to get hurt, I would say 40 to 50 miles. I could do 40 miles a week pretty consistently and not be injured. Yeah.
Okay. So
not out doing it like 100 miles a week or anything. So
your PR at the time was 3:45, right?
Correct.
So, and you had to get under 3:40. So, or does
that time? Yes, I needed under 3:40.
And so you're like 5 minutes off.
Yep. And I just didn't know if I could do it. And I'm like, well, I love to run, so I thought I'll just keep doing it, and maybe someday I'll get there. Honestly, when I came that close, I thought, well, maybe I needed a running coach. With Facebook, Instagram, there are so many ads out there that pop up, and, that click on this, and, and it's expensive. I'm like, I kept thinking to myself, oh my gosh, like, I know what kind of training I need to do. There's free training plans out there. Just put in the work, and I always did. But there was something missing. I didn't know what that was. I didn't need a running coach.
You know how to run.
Yep. Yep. I knew what I needed to do. After 20 some marathons, you kind of get it figured out. But I needed a nutrition coach, and huge game changer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when did you find this and who is your nutrition coach? So I run an online fitness business. I get it. Like, it's expensive, and most people know what to do, and they know what they should be eating. But at the end of the day, it does boil down to nutrition.
Yep.
And I've proven that, like, I train every single day, and I've weighed anywhere from, 210 pounds to 285 pounds training every single day. And the only difference is nutrition, right? So tell us, when you found your nutrition coach, who that is. And I love that it's another Nebraskan. So.
Yeah. So I would say early last year, again, Facebook, I wasn't really even looking for, anything, but this ad kept popping up and I just all over. And I'm like, okay, I haven't clicked on anything, but finally the one day I'm like, I felt like I was just drawn to it. And the only thing I can think of is that my daughter played for the Norfolk D League basketball. And at one point, Carissa had shared a post on there. And so I remember seeing it was the Radiant Mom routine, get rid of the mom bod. And I was just, like I said, I was drawn to it. And it was a picture of her and her sister and their daughters. And I was like, gosh, I felt like I knew her. And I'm like, so I kind of Facebook stalked her. And I thought, okay, she's from Nebraska. Like Atkinson, here we are, Atkinson, Nebraska, 2 hours away. I'm like, she's got to be legit, So I did, it took me a couple months to finally pull the trigger, and I set up a one-on-one call with her, which again, totally out of my box. Told my husband what I was going to do, and he goes, Tasha, I'm with you. I'll back you 100%. But he goes, you know what you need to do. You just need to you need to eat better. And I said, I know. And I felt like I was doing all the right things. But I didn't, it was just implementing exactly what I needed to do. I liked my carbs. I like my donuts. I like my ice cream. Couldn't tell you the last time I had a donut. So since starting this lifestyle change, I don't care for those anymore. So yeah, so early May, like I said, I booked that one-on-one call with Carissa, and it's just been life-changing ever since. Her knowledge and her guidance to get you through, she sets you up for success. And it's not a diet. It's not a diet. I had a lot of people ask me, well, like, what are you doing? What diet are you doing? And I'm like, I'm not on a diet. I eat a lot of food.
Right.
I totally changed my lifestyle.
I call it fueling your passion, right? So
yes, you need to fuel your body correctly.
Right. And
yes.
And I, growing up as a decent athlete, I would say, like, even I didn't know for a long time what that really meant, to fuel your passion, right? Like, if you want to accomplish goals, there's a certain way you need to eat. There's a certain way you need to train. It has to come together. And if you're not hitting those goals, it's more than likely not your training, it's your nutrition, right?
Yes.
So for all those people sitting out there like, I really want to do this and I can't get there, I always look at your nutrition first. That's the first thing you need to look at.
Yes.
So Radiant Mom Routine, they have a website? Is it radiantmomroutine.com or something like that?
I think just Facebook.
And
Instagram. Yep.
Okay. So, and that's local Nebraska, and Atkinson. Her kids are great athletes. I know that.
Amazing. Yes.
And it does start with like how we grew up, right? Like you grew up eating donuts and ice cream, right? So I grew up eating Pop-Tarts and Burger King, right?
Yeah.
This is what we did, right? And I wonder why that, I was cramping in football games,
Mm-hmm.
So the Radiant Mom, that was a year ago that you've started with her, or?
So in May 2024.
Yeah, so so it's
Yep.
been over a year.
Yeah.
So you get started with the nutrition, kind of working.
So
Obviously, the Lincoln just happened back in May, and you've been working towards this goal for 15 years, and you come out and absolutely destroy your PR in all three categories that you can PR, right? 10K, half, and full.
Correct.
And the only thing that really changed was your nutrition.
Yes.
So what were those times like? What your PR before that was 3:45, and you run a what?
I ran a 3:26.14, and my half PR was like a 1:41.34, and I think I came in at half at like 1:41.10.
Okay.
So not a whole lot, but
you had another half to run.
Correct. I mean, they always say you try to negative split. My first half was a 1:41, and my second half was a 1:45.
Yeah.
And prior marathons that I've ran, I've been able to run a 1:45 first half, but then the second half was awful.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I trusted my training. I trusted the process. I knew going into it. Just a couple of my training runs were amazing. Not even taking any fuel. I can remember I had a half marathon on my schedule to run. And it was not an ideal day in Nebraska. We had about 30, 40 per mile winds. And I thought, well, come race day, I don't know what's going to happen. I set out that day and I did my east-west roads to try and kind of block the wind a little bit, which meant I was going to run hills that day. I ran a 1:47, and that was not, obviously I fueled beforehand, but I didn't take any goo or anything. That was from the time I started to the finish. And I thought, wow, that felt good. It felt easy. So that was just one of my training runs that I had that I thought, okay, I knew going into Lincoln that I was pretty sure I could PR. And it wasn't until probably the last 2 weeks of my training that everybody's like, oh, how are you feeling? And I think everybody knew without even asking that I was trying to qualify. And a few of my close friends asked, but I didn't put a whole lot out there just because, like I said, I've been chasing this for 15 years. And I thought, well, it is what it is. Probably the most scary thing I have done is knowing that, okay, I've trained differently this round than any other time. I wasn't quite sure how fueling the days leading up to the race would go. I had done a lot of research, and everybody says you need 300 to 400 carbs leading up to 3 days before the marathon. Well, I was not even close. I don't even get up to 100 a day. Mm-hmm. So leading up to that, weekend, I was so scared. I remember texting Krissa and saying, Krissa, I'm not used to eating 300, 400 carbs in a week. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen? And she's like, she kind of gave me the okay. She's like, Tasha, your body needs that. And she's like, just choose the right carbs. And so I did. I keep track of everything on my Fitness Pal, and I wrote everything down. And so I felt very full leading up to Lincoln, but I thought, okay, like I said, trust the process, trust your training. There's nothing you can do to change it now. So Saturday, it just was kind of weird. My daughter had conference track, and Matt and Mackenzie decided that they were going to go down to Lincoln with me, which does not ever usually happen. I was really excited for them to be there. They probably weren't so much, just because it's a long time to be waiting. But Matt was going to help my son. Nathan lives in Lincoln, so he was going to help him with the project, and they were all going to come to the finish. And so that morning, I mean, we couldn't have asked for better weather. It was 50s, no wind. I remember I got to the I think I was like in the second wave of runners to go, and I got right behind the 3:30, which scared the living hell out of me. I had a 3:30 pace band, which I just needed a 3:35. But when Nathan had picked up my packet for me the day before, they didn't have a 3:35. And so he goes, well, what do you need to qualify? And I said, well, I need a 3:35. And he goes, well, why would you take a 3:40 pace band and wear it if you need a 3:35? He was right. So, yeah, like I said, I lined up, and my first mile that day was a 7:42. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, I didn't know if I should be worried, but it felt good, So I just kept going with it, mile after mile, and I kept saying a prayer. If today's the day, I hope I can keep this up.
And lo and behold, you qualify by 9 minutes, basically 8 minutes.
Yep.
And some odd change. So it's awesome. So talk about perseverance. Tasha's story is definition of no excuses. And this next break is brought to you by setthebarsups.com. For those who refuse to settle, whether it's running your fastest mile or running your life, Set the Bar Sups has clean, powerful supplements to help you get it done. When we come back, we're going to talk about how Tasha balances faith, family, and fitness, and what Boston looks like, right? And we'll just kind of give everybody an idea for those that don't know what that looks like. So don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. The Power Hour rolls on after this.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Your Nebraska Lottery announces the 2025 NASCAR Powerball Playoff. And it's a great way to get on track for a chance to win $1,000. From May 27th to June 23rd, buy $2 of Powerball, enter the voucher number online, and you could be one of 20 winners of $1,000 and a chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Championship weekend at Phoenix Raceway. Roar into any Nebraska Lottery retailer and buy $2 of Powerball today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Hey guys, you have heard about the Farrell's 10-week challenge for years on the ticket. If you still haven't joined us for this amazing challenge, what are you waiting for? You could be our next $1,000 winner like Derek, who just lost 30 pounds 23 inches, and 8% body fat. Derek changed his life in the 10-week challenge, and so can you. Farrell's combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to get you the results you have been waiting for. Join us July 12th for the Summer 10-Week Challenge. Go to fxblincoln.com to enroll today.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through June 29th, get lumberjack pellets for $3.99 when you buy $25 in meat, and a 2-day sale this Friday and Saturday of USDA choice whole boneless ribeye for $13.99 per pound, as well as pork sausage for $1.99 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Out here on Nebraska's calm, welcoming waters, fishing is a breeze. It's the sweet spot where solo anglers find quiet before the catch, families reel in memories, and first-timers discover what makes fishing so special. From the Panhandle to the Platte, the best fishing happens here, beneath Nebraska skies. Get started at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Need service on your home air conditioner? Call the company Lincoln has counted on since 1952. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. No matter what brand you have, when you need service, you want Bryant's experienced pros working for you. Friendly, NATE certified technicians with the tools, training, and technology to restore your comfort quickly. No matter what brand, when you need service, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Back to the Power Hour with Todd Uhlir on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right. Welcome back to the Power Hour. I'm Todd Uhlir, and I'm here with Tasha Breitbarth, who just back in May punched her ticket to the Boston Marathon, a 15-year journey. And so, Tasha, tell me what that feels like coming across it. Like, I mean, at what mile marker did you know, like, because you're watching, right? Like, you're tracking this stuff. I mean, elite level running here. You know where you're at. What mile were you like, I think I got
this.
Yeah.
Mile 19 going into Holmes Lake. I believe I was at, like 2 hours and 26 minutes. And I thought, okay, I got 7 miles left. Even if I run an 7 miles an hour is 8:34 pace. I've got this, and I with some cushion. And at this point I'm still running under 8-minute miles. And it wasn't until mile 22 that I think was my first mile over 8. But I was still feeling good. And I got to mile 25 and a half. And I met this guy dressed, in an Elvis costume. He was running the full. And he is just cheering me on. He's like, come on, you can do this. He goes, you can go get that Boston. And so how he knew that I was qualifying for Boston, I have no idea. But that's when it really hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, I just did it.
Yeah.
And, going up that street by the Champions Club, I didn't hear anybody. Nathan and Caitlin were screaming for me. I didn't hear anything.
You're locked.
I was so focused on just getting to the finish. And I went across that finish line and the tears just rolled. Yeah. And then I spotted Matt and Kenzie. And I mean, it was a very emotional day. Just unbelievable.
Yeah. That's awesome. Awesome. So Boston, you don't get to run Boston until next year, right? Like in 2026. Is that how that works?
Yep. So registration will open on September 8th. It's open for like 5 days. So ironically, last year after Boston in 2025, I needed a 340 at one point. Well, then they lowered the standards again 5 minutes. So I knew going in 2026, I needed a 335 plus a big enough cushion. I think the last year the cutoff was 6 minutes and 51 seconds. Just looking back at the times that they have dropped them, I'm pretty sure I'm good.
Confident.
But you never know.
Don't know until everybody's registered, right?
Yep. So, I will register in September, and then race will be Monday, April 20th.
Okay. And so how many people get to run the Boston?
Like 35.
35,000.
Yeah.
Have you been to Boston?
So yes, I did. I flew out there and surprised my friend Sonia when she ran in 2011. And at that point, they still allowed bandits. So I actually did run the last maybe 11 miles with her.
Oh, okay.
And I went through the finish line. I mean, I was literally handed a medal. I didn't even have a bib. And I knew the Boston Marathon is pretty prestigious marathon. So I did not take a medal. I knew my day would come. So, yeah.
So awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, we hope that you get in, like you're qualified. So now there's the whole process of getting in, right?
Yes.
Looks like you have
long awaiting.
Pretty big cushion with 8 minutes. So thank you. What an incredible story today from Tasha Breitbarth. Proof that no dream is too big and no timeline is too long if you got the grit and the grind to keep going. Whether you're chasing your first marathon, your next business milestone, or simply trying to become the best version of yourself, remember, persistence beats perfection and progress always wins. So huge shout out to our sponsors, Win the World of Lincoln and SetTheBarSups.com for powering the show. I'm Todd Uhlir. This is the Power Hour, reminding you to keep showing up, keep setting the bar, and never stop chasing your dream. We'll see you next Saturday. God bless. Much love. Peace out.
Thank you, Todd.
You got it.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships, one with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Conditioner? Call the company Lincoln has counted on since 1952. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. No matter what brand you have, when you need service, you want Bryant's experienced pros working for you. Friendly, NATE certified technicians with the tools, training, and technology to restore your comfort quickly. No matter what brand, when you need service, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.